What kind of tile can you put on the wall or shower? Do you have to seal tile? How much extra tile should I buy for my project? What thin set is the best for my tile application? How hard is it to maintain natural stone? You have questions, we have answers. Welcome to the BELK Tile Podcast. How to style the bathroom, the backyard, the kitchen. How to improve your home style with tiles to make your home absolutely beautiful. Welcome to the BELK Tile Podcast. Here's your host, Mike Belk.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the BELK Tile Podcast. I am Abby, and of course, Mike is with me as well.
Good morning, Abby. Welcome, everyone.
Today, I want to discuss herringbone tile designs.
Oh, that is a good topic. We get a lot of questions on that.
All right, we're diving right into the classic herringbone tile pattern today. You can probably picture it already. Those rectangular tiles set in that sort of zigzag, almost like a broken fishbone. Technically, each tile is set at a 90-degree angle, which gives it that dynamic V-shaped look. It's been around forever, but I honestly can't scroll Pinterest or Reddit these days without seeing a dozen posts about herringbone, usually arguing if it's timeless or like totally overdone.
Exactly, Abby. It's funny because in the store, folks come in with all these mood boards they've pinned, and herringbone is always somewhere near the top. And it's not just looks. The reason it sticks around so much is, well, it's versatile. It fits right in whether you're doing a super modern kitchen or restoring an old house. It can be crisp and contemporary or have that old world charm. Where are you seeing it mostly?
Backsplashes, for sure. I mean, it's huge for kitchen backsplashes, but bathroom floors and shower walls, too. I swear, it's like people have herringbone fever. But here's the trick. The internet's kind of lost its mind debating whether the pattern's played out. And honestly, it can look tired if you don't freshen it up. Some quick ways to keep it feeling modern: mix materials, play with grout color, or go vertical instead of horizontal. The new crop of oversized plank tiles for jumbo herringbone layouts, that's everywhere right now.
Yep, but you got to think about the budget piece too. Herringbone takes more time to install, so it's pricier than your basic subway layout. But I've seen folks get creative, like one of our customers who did just a half-wall accent in herringbone behind their stove instead of tiling the whole backsplash. Saved a good chunk of change, but still got that classic look. So it doesn't have to break the bank, honestly.
Totally. And if you love the pattern but want a twist, maybe just try a skinny accent stripe or a little pop in a niche. And yes, Mike, Pinterest and Reddit still can't agree if herringbone is done, but with all the ways to shake it up, I think it's safe for a while. Did we cover the basics?
I think so. Summed up, herringbone's a pattern that's not going anywhere, but how you approach it, that's what makes it shine. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty, actually laying out that herringbone. First, you've got to pick the right tile. Rectangular tiles always, obviously. And, the classic 3x6 or 4x12 sizes, those always hit the sweet spot. I see people sometimes try to use big, chonky tiles. Looks good if you get it right, but mistakes are less forgiving. You always want to dry lay a few rows first. Test how it's going to work in the space so you don't end up pulling your hair out after you've set 5 rows in the wrong spot. That layout planning step, folks love to skip that and regret it. Trust me.
Oh gosh, Reddit is packed with those "help, my pattern is wonky" posts. The biggest mistake? Not starting from a central visual spot, like lining up with a range hood or framing a niche. That way your cuts at the edges look intentional, not random. And those grout lines, I just saw a picture. Someone forgot the spacers and ended up with like major gaps on one side. Totally throws off the flow.
Been there way too many times. Actually, we had this customer, ambitious DIY kitchen. They were so excited, but they hadn't mapped out the starting point, and by the second row, the pattern had wandered off. Brought in a pro installer after a, let's just say, chaotic weekend. Pro realigned everything off a center line, recut some edge pieces, and saved the day. So, yeah, sometimes it's better to get a pro, especially for herringbone, if you want those tight lines and sharp corners.
Totally agree. There's a pro DIY debate for every project, but with herringbone, if you're a rookie, at least bring in an expert to help you plan. And we haven't even touched grout. Hot take. If you want to highlight the pattern, pick a contrasting grout, but beware, it'll also highlight any mistakes. For most people, I tell them to go subtle, but not blend in and disappear beige. Just enough contrast to show off the zigzag, but still forgiving.
Exactly. And walls versus floors. For floors, definitely check tile thickness and slip resistance. Floors have expansion issues too. You need the right spacing so you don't end up with cracked joints a couple years in. Bottom line, plan, dry lay, consider getting a pro. It'll save you so much headache. Where was I? Oh, and if you're picking grout, subtle contrast rules for first-timers.
All right, so once you've got the layout down, let's talk design ideas. If you want that crisp farmhouse vibe, white tile with gray grout and herringbone is always a winner. I just did a coastal remodel where we ran it up the entire backsplash, and every time the light hit it, you got this beautiful play of shadow. I kind of fell in love with it. But you can go bold too, metallic or glass herringbone mosaics, very on trend for a punch above the stove or bar area.
And don't sleep on bathroom floors. Marble herringbone brings that luxury spa feel. And vertical herringbone, that look where you run the herringbones up the wall instead of side to side. It's huge for making showers feel taller, makes the space feel, well, grander than it really is. I mean, it's a trick of the eye, but it works.
Exactly, and if you don't want to do a whole wall, try a little pop, an entryway with a herringbone accent behind the fireplace, even mudrooms. That's where people are getting creative. I love seeing those half-wall wainscoting ideas on Reddit or folks on Quora doing vertical stripes in the laundry. There's no rule anymore. Herringbone doesn't have to mean a whole floor takeover.
Right, and sometimes all you need is a small section behind the range or sink. Costs less, not as intimidating if you're on the fence. And you can mix materials too, glass and stone, classic ceramic with a little bit of metal for a shimmer. Those combos really elevate the look without being too much. If you're not ready to go all in, just test it out on a smaller scale first. Besides, that's how trends start, with a little experiment that catches on.
So don't be afraid to play around, folks. Herringbone works in more places than you think, and it honestly adds personality anywhere, even in a little border or a surprise spot. Start small if you feel nervous, then who knows, you might be planning your next room in herringbone too.
All right, so let's bring it home with a few practical tips on grout and maintenance. Choosing the right grout color is more than just an aesthetic call. In high moisture spots like kitchens or baths, durability's massive. You want something that's not going to stain or go moldy after a year. Sanded grout for wider joints, unsanded for tight ones, and always check the manufacturer's guide for your tile type. Also, if you're in a high splash zone or using natural stone, seal that grout. It's one extra step that pays off in the long run.
And please, everybody, seal your tiles if you're using natural stone. I know it's an extra step, but it'll spare you from those "why is my marble stained" messages in a few months. And maintenance isn't scary, just regular cleaning with a pH-neutral tile cleaner, nothing harsh, and you'll keep that herringbone pattern looking sharp for ages. Skip anything abrasive, especially if you went for a fancy finish. Oh, and if you're doing a big space, maybe make a routine. A quick wipe down once a week can do wonders. It's the difference between wow and what happened here in just a year.
I'd add, don't forget grout maintenance. A little brush and the right cleaner will keep those lines crisp. And if you see cracks or missing bits, fix them early, and it's easier to patch than rip out a whole section. If you just follow those basic care tips, seal if needed, clean gently, keep an eye out for issues, your herringbone's going to look fresh for years, I promise.
So that's our herringbone deep dive. Classic look, but the real key, take a little extra time to plan, pick the right details, and keep up with cleaning. Grab a few tile samples, try laying out some ideas on your kitchen table before you commit, and if you're stuck, reach out. We love helping with those design dilemmas. And Mike, want to tell them what's up next?
Oh yeah, next time we're talking all things subway tile, stacked, offset, and way beyond the basics. So if you liked today's episode, make sure to tune in. Abby, as always, love chatting tile with you. Thanks for hanging out, folks.
Same here, Mike. Thanks everybody for listening. Catch you next time on BELK Tile Talk. Bye.
You've been listening to the BELK Tile Podcast. When it comes to creating a beautiful home using tile, this is the podcast for products, design ideas, and tips. We hope you got some useful, practical information from this show, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, reach out. The website is www.belktile.com. Our store phone number is 614-543-8334. Find us on Facebook and Twitter at BELK Tile and on Instagram at BELK Tiles. Make sure to leave a rating and review. And if you have questions or comments, reach out. And we'll talk about it on the next show. Till next time.